Well, 2019 hasn't been a bad year for gaming. There haven't really been any large titles that interest me personally, which has resulted in me playing a lot more indie games than ever before. I find this a very good thing. It has allowed me to experiment with my taste in games. And as a result, I found many great underrated games that have been way more fun to play than most of the full-feature games I've played in the last few years. But while it's obvious most indies aren't as polished or popular as AA or AAA titles due to a smaller budget and lack of marketing, a good idea executed well can be way better than just a very detailed game, regardless of the numbers. That's where Get to the Orange Store comes in, which is one of the best games I've played throughout the whole year. Get to the Orange Store released on the 30th of May earlier this year, and is currently in early access for $15. It's an indie game through and through, built almost exclusively by a single person, Andrew Smith. It's a run and gun shooter at its finest, inspired by Doom and the Titanfall franchise, brought to you by one of the best looking retro aesthetic games out right now. Which, let me just say, two of my favorite themes in games are the Vietnamese War and the 1980s, both of which have been relatively unexplored in the industry. The objective is in the title: make your way to the Orange Store by battling your way through hordes of enemies, with multiple weapons and gadgets assisting you on your journey. The game is almost perfect gunplay and movement. Guns feel powerful, responsive, and you don't need to be 100% accurate to land your shots. And quite frankly, if you play the game in its intended form, it would practically be impossible to do so. You're a speed demon. Parkour and wall running is something you do very commonly, which also increases your speed. These two alone you make your character feel like such a badass, but that's not it. As someone who is a huge fan of synthwave, I'm happy to say all of this is backed up by one amazing soundtrack that pumps you up even more. You can also slow down time or stop it entirely with the time phone, which, I thought the game would return back to normal by now. Guess I'm going to go a layer deeper, and deeper, and deep. Being an early access game, there's bound to be some bugs. Luckily there's only a few and nothing too game breaking. As an example, you can ignore levels with the grenade launcher. The game's also very bare bones. There's 3 different game modes. Quick play is where you complete stage after stage, overhaul is your speedrunning game mode, and in Arena you fight an endless horde. Luckily there's also workshop support, so you yourself or the community have the option to make maps of your own. There's also a pretty good weapon selection, each having an alternate firing mode. Some give you a hard time, some are not starter games, and is that a banana? Overall, I think there's a lot to like. Having been looking for a run and gun shooter for some time, it's a perfect fit for me. And if you're uncertain if the game's for you, you can always try the demo. With the way shooting and accuracy works, I think it will be a perfect fit for the upcoming Switch port. And being only 2/5 of the way through its update timeline, I don't think Get to the Orange Store should be slept on.